Это уже внутри музея.
Through here, please, for the study. Come across the far side. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. So a very good morning to you all. Welcome to 221B Baker Street, home of the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes, and his dear friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. The items on display are from the Victorian era, so we ask not to touch, please. Photography's fine, but sorry, no video. So here in the study, the heart of 221B, we have Dr. Watson's desk here, with his medical kit bag full of gruesome surgical tools, and the Times newspaper from 1881, the year the pair first met at St. Bart's Hospital and moved to this address. In the far corner, Sherlock's desk with his chemistry set for what we now describe as forensic science. And of course, his famous Stradivarius violin, which he would play to ease that busy mind. He bought it on the Tottenham Court Road for a mere 55 shillings, which is about £1,000 today, but he told Watson over lunch it's real value. 500 guineas. Nearly £250,000 today, quite a steal. Without a case on his mind, he could turn to some less musical pursuits, and one of those was pistol practice in the living room. Much to the despair of Mrs. Hudson, who shot the letters VR into her wall. They stand for Victoria Regina, Queen Victoria in Latin. And next to Queen Victoria here, a photograph of the other lady in his life, forever referred to as the woman. It is, of course, the famous Irene Adler from A Scandal in Bohemia, one of the few people to outsmart the great detective. So thank you for listening about some items in the study. Whenever you're ready, we'll continue next door. Thank you. This is Sherlock's room. Here in Sherlock's room, on the bed, his travel case. The big black hat, the Capello Romano, was worn by priests of the day, and it was part of his favourite disguise. He dressed as a priest in many adventures, but it wasn't good enough to fool Irene Adler, who said goodnight, Mr. Holmes, when he was wearing it all. In the glass case, the iconic Deerstalker cap, but you wouldn't have met him wearing this around Baker Street. A fashionable gentleman such as he would wear a silk top hat when in town. Deerstalkers were for the countryside. It was the illustrator, Sidney Paget, that put the cap on Sherlock's head. Surprisingly, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle doesn't mention it once. On the bedside table, a book about bees. Holmes was fascinated by the creatures. He wrote a book on the subject, and when he retired at the age of 50, he became a beekeeper at the family home in Sussex. On the mantelpiece above the fireplace, a Persian slipper, where he'd keep his pipe tobacco stuffed into the toe. One of several habits Watson found distasteful. On the wall, these photographs, these aren't Sherlock's family, these are genuine murderers and serial killers of the day. And he introduced these to Watson as my dear old friends. For Holmes to get close to dangerous criminals, he had to do more than wear a new hat. He'd often wear false beards, nose, wigs, and lots of stage makeup too. Such the master of disguise was he, he'd return home and Watson wouldn't recognise his best friend and colleague. Though that may say something of Watson. So thank you for listening, and any questions while you explore the first floor, please just ask. And whenever you wish, you'll find Watson's room above us here, Mrs. Hudson's up the front, and a new exhibition on the third floor. Thank you.
Больше жила миссис Хадсон. Еще выше.